This is what I call a chief ring, made from a high-grade piece of Kingman waterweb turquoise, and in this video, I'm going to show you how I made it. Here, I'm starting with a blank rectangle I've pre-cut from dead soft sterling silver sheet. I prefer the sturdiness of 14 and 12 gauge, depending on the size of the ring I'm making. I find the easiest way to mark my stamping and cutting lines for this design is to use masking tape. As for scribing, I use a straight-edged ruler and a micrometer with a dead battery to find and draw my middle lines. Once I've found my center of gravity, I start framing the design. This one tapers from wide at the top to more narrow at the bottom. I make my marks and draw my cutting lines. Next, I make lines from the center to the outside edges in a somewhat equal distance from each other. I'm aiming for 7 lines from the middle for this design, and I'm eyeballing it. They don't always line up perfect, but that's okay. I prefer an organic look. Once all my lines are scribed, I begin stamping. First, I stamp my outside lines to cut off the corners. Working with thicker sheet, it makes it easier than grinding through it with a jeweler's saw. After the corners are gone, I start stamping my design following my scribed lines. Once the lines are all stamped, I can remove the masking tape. Next, I anneal the piece. This is the process of heating the silver to a certain temperature and then quenching it in water to soften the silver, making it more workable. After that, I get to filing, taking off any rough edges and fine-tuning the overall shape of things. Once everything is cleaned up, I start into the finer details. In this case, I use my jeweler's saw to make shallow cuts into each stamp impression and follow that up with my file to shape it how I like. Next, I select a stone to fit the piece. For this ring, I chose a piece of high-grade Kingman waterweb turquoise from Arizona. Now to choose my stamps for the extra details. These are one-of-a-kind stamps that were carved by hand. One of the stamps is used to create an extra detail I use to add dimension to the design. It's first stamped into 16-gauge silver and then cut out and filed. Then I grab some old silver scrap and cut it into small pieces that I'll turn into beads that will also border the stone to create a graduated look. After we have all necessary pieces, I place them on the flat preformed ring to work out where my arrowhead stamp was going to go. I scribe accordingly and make my stamp impressions. Now, to bezel the stone. I prefer to use sterling silver bezel as it can stand more heat, making it easier to work with. First, I file the end flat and then shape it to the ring, marking the spot where the ends meet and cut. Then I file the freshly cut end to make it flush with the other end so that they can be soldered together. Before we can put it all together, we have to turn the flat piece of silver we've been working on into a ring. And to do that, I anneal it again. After the metal is soft, I can use my mallet and mandrel to form it into shape. Like the bezel, I then solder the ends together, and then I can get to work. This rope is twisted square wire and has to be cut to fit after the other pieces are in place. If you got something out of this video, you can encourage us to make more by liking and subscribing. Also, I've been making jewelry like this for 10 years, and if you'd like to see some of my available work, you can visit thecommon.co.